Drink. All see me all right? Great. I think this is good. I think we're set up well. Great. Well, welcome to your half an hour back class. We'll be starting in about little over 10 minutes. So just take your time to find a space, make it comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. You do not need mats or blocks or blankets or anything else. But if you would like to introduce them today, feel free to grab a blanket maybe. I have a nice thin one here that I fold up and put underneath my butt to keep my hips elevated. I also use this for my knee. I have an old knee injury that sometimes acts up and gives me a hard time when I put weight on my knee. So I use this underneath my knee to pad it and protect it. Do introduce props into your practices that will help you and aid you in finding the most ease and comfort in today's practice. And in every practice, you really get yourself involved. And I think that's a good life lesson. That's why we buy comfortable chairs for our desks at work, because if we know we're going to be in a space, we want to make it comfortable for ourselves. That's why we decorate our walls or put pretty linens on our beds. Whatever that looks like, appreciate your space and make it comfortable for you. And that includes during yoga. Yoga shouldn't be uncomfortable. Yoga is not about touching your toes. I mean, you can touch your toes, right? Or out here, maybe feet together, touching your toes. Or like this. Yoga is not about bending over and touching your toes. Yoga is about changing your perspective, giving your body the stretch and exercise it needs and it likes, and being comfortable when you're doing that. You shouldn't be uncomfortable when you're doing yoga, unless you're really that type of person that really likes to push themselves really to the limits with your physicality and your exercise, then great for you. But for the rest of us, yoga should be about finding a space and a time in the day to breathe, find your center, find your place in your life, and give yourself 30 minutes to a half an hour of love and stretching and just focusing on that and nothing else. Life can be trying. It's difficult, and there's a lot of emotion that comes along with living, and that's okay. Yoga is a great way to have a healthy expression of that emotion in your life and have a healthy moment to focus on nothing and everything all at once. So my message to you is take yoga and make it what you need it for you. Yoga is going to look very different in my body than it does in yours, than it does maybe with the person you're practicing with. I know plenty of people that are extraordinarily fit, and they always say to me, oh, I can't do yoga because I can't touch my toes. And again, yoga is not about touching your toes. Yoga is about taking the time for you to stretch out and do what feels good in your body. That being said, today I will present you with several suggestions about how to move your body, and I will present you with several alternatives so that you understand that there is no one way to do yoga right. Yoga is done right when it feels great in your body, when you get the good stretch you need, when your muscles feel relieved and oxygenated, and your brain maybe gets a little light. I know that's what happens to me after about an hour's worth of yoga and talking. And you just feel a little better about the world around you. I mean, I hope that's what doing yoga brings for you. But again, your experience is always going to be different than mine. Maybe your experience is just to sit on your mat and listen to me babble for the next 30 minutes. Great. As long as you're sitting there nice and tall, loving yourself and breathing, that's still yoga. Sitting on your mat and breathing is still yoga. It's all yoga, and it's all good. And I really look forward to practicing with you today. If you were with me last Friday or the last time I did a back class, that first back class, the back class will be very similar today. The full back class will be very similar today. We're going to focus on our entire back and creating nice, long, big stretches in our back and understanding how to move our muscles around without hurting ourselves and engaging through our core and grounding down through our feet or our bottoms, or the bottom of our body, as we create openness and flexibility in our back. If it's your first time doing yoga, I encourage you to just do what you can. Do what feels good. Find a way to be in the positions that feels good to you. Yoga may not look like in your body what it looks like in my body. That's okay. nothing that you do is wrong or imperfect as long as you're trying. And trying includes just sitting here, taking 30 minutes for yourself, listening to me talk to you about yoga. So I'm very excited you are joining us today and on this journey, and excited to be talking about what we're going to be doing with our back stretches today. So we're going to start in a seated position, and that means it doesn't necessarily mean you have to sit like this. You can sit with your legs out in front of you, or whatever works for you in a seated position. If you're sitting in a chair, that works for the first half of this. In fact, most of what we do today will be able to be done in a chair as a modification and an alternative, which is great because some of us maybe, well, yesterday was Thanksgiving, so maybe some of us ate a little too much or drank a little too much, and bending over, sitting on the floor can be a little uncomfortable this morning. Or, if you're sustained an injury and you're still healing, give yourself that time to heal. And if you're practicing yoga while doing that, I encourage you to back up and see how little you can do. Find the smallest amount you can do and then work from there. It's about working your way up. It's not about immediately being able to touch your toes, nothing like that. It's about learning how to be on your mat for 30 minutes or on the floor or on a chair for 30 minutes or an hour, dedicating that time and energy to yourself in this space right now. And I'm grateful that you've made that choice to be here today as we walk through this full back class. So we'll start in a seated position. Then we're going to move up to a standing position. And we're going to work in a standing position. We're going to do a little bit of balance. And then we're going to move back down to the floor. We're going to work on our backs a little bit, and then we'll be seated upright, and then we'll end in a final resting position. If you see me look over this way, my notes are over here. So I'm just looking at a notebook that lets me know where we are within the routine, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys, everything that I wrote down and prepared for this routine. So I have that over here. So if you see me look over, that's what I'm doing. Otherwise, if you've got questions for me, I'm happy to answer them now before we start, or after. If you're just joining us now, we'll if you've got comments after, please leave them there. I'll be available for a few minutes after we wrap up. So today's going to be a 30-minute session from 12 to 12:30. If you're watching this live, if you're watching it on the replay, it'll be about 30 minutes long, and I will give you about 5 minutes at the end to have a final resting pose and a moment to just lay quietly and maybe just feel all the good you did today here during this 30-minute full back class in your body, and just rest, because that's really what the body needs. So remember that with all the exercise and all the kind of hustle and bustle that happens during the week, dedicate some time for yourself to rest. It's something that we as Americans feel like we can't do. We can't stop. We can't rest. We can't slow down. We can't. Just make time for it. If you have to schedule it in, I understand. I've had to do that in the past. I've now changed my lifestyle so that I can rest when I need to rest. But there have been times in my life where my lifestyle was very hectic, and I would literally schedule 30 minutes, 15 minutes here and there on my calendar to just stop and do nothing. Go sit on a bench outside, enjoy nature. Socially distance yourself or whatever you need to do, but take time for yourself. And whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you go for a hike. Maybe you just sit and drink a cup of coffee while looking out a window. Great. All of those things are amazing commitments to yourself and amazing commitments to your needs and the human body's needs for rest. So rest and relaxation are just as important as exercise and energy. So just keep that in mind. There's always a balance. We'll be starting here in about a couple more minutes now, just 2 more minutes. I'll see if anybody else will join us this morning. If not, we'll just kind of get started. Again, my name is Liz, and I'm super psyched to be here today and doing some full back exercises with you. Again, we're going to start kind of seated here on the mat, and then we're going to move up into a standing position and then back down to the mat on our backs. Many of these poses can be done while sitting in a chair. And just because I'm sitting like this with, kind of crisscross applesauce over here, doesn't mean you can't adjust this position for whatever that looks like for you, whether your legs are out wide or tucked in here. I'm going to slide back a little bit so you can see my feet. You bring them out wide there. So if you want to bring your feet out in front of you like this, if this is more comfortable for you, sitting in a chair is more comfortable for you, wherever you want to start, this is called an easy seat. So just find your easy seat. It doesn't have to look like mine. Your yoga is going to look very different from the yoga that I do in my body. What's important is to listen to your body. And when your body tells you that something is uncomfortable, it doesn't feel right, find a position that's going to work for you. That being said, let's go ahead and get started now. Find your nice easy seat. We're just going to do some breaths here at first. So we're going to grow tall through the crown of our head. Bring your shoulders over your hips. Stack them up nice and neat. Maybe take a deep breath in, expanding your chest. Exhale through your mouth. Let's do that 3 times. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more time. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Let go of everything that happened earlier today and know that the things that will come this afternoon will be there when you're done with your time exercising with this next 30 minutes. So let's just think about that for a minute and just be here in this moment. Find that nice solid foundation in your body. Feel yourself connecting into your floor. Roll your shoulders maybe up to your ears and down your back. Just create some kinetic motion there. Maybe roll them forward. And here we're going to do some seated cat-cow. So we're going to inhale and we're going to look up toward the sky. Puffing our chest out, bringing our chin up. Big inhale, exhale. Collapse in almost like you're about to hug a giant beach ball. Pushing your spine out away from the center line of your body. Inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, push out like you're hugging that beach ball. Big deep breaths in through the nose, bring yourself back up. Exhale, wrapping your arms back around that beach ball, rolling your stomach in towards your spine. Exhale here. Exhale all that air out. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out. For some of us, this might feel like swimming while seated. I know it does for me. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out. Now let's come back to center, your easy seat. Just realign yourself so your shoulders are back over hips. Grow tall through the crown of your head. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. Great job. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Stay tall through your upper body. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Great job. Let's shake that out. Inhale your arms up to the sky. This time when you exhale, drop your right arm or your left arm, whichever one you feel is good to start with, down to the mat, and you're going to reach up through your arm that's up to the sky. Try to drop your shoulder blade down your back and keep your shoulder away from your ear as you reach tall, ground down through your hip. Just make a nice long line from the tips of your fingers down through your hip. Stay here for another breath. And as you exhale, drop your arm down to the mat. Wonderful. Inhale both arms back up to the sky, big and tall. Now drop the other arm down to the mat. On your exhale, inhale and reach up toward the ceiling, very tall, stretching up Grounding down through your bottom hip here. Really reaching up. Breathe here. Try to drop your shoulder down your back and away from your ear. Stay tall. Whoops, I kind of started leaning. I'm going to come back to center a little bit. Great job. Inhale. Exhale, drop your arm down to the mat. Hand back down to the mat. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, cactus or goalpost your arms, and we're going to stay here and breathe. Inhale, shining your chest up toward the ceiling. Staying nice and tall, keeping those shoulders stacked over your hips. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, drop them down on the mat. Great job, everyone. If you're sitting in a cross-legged position, maybe switch your feet. If you're sitting with your legs out, if you're starting to become uncomfortable, hang in there. We're just going to do a couple more here. Maybe you bring your feet in at this point. We're going to do a little twisting. It's a little easier to do in this position. And even if your feet, are out here, out in front of you further, that's great too. It's going to give you a little ability to twist. Now, if you've just eaten, or your stomach is still full, maybe from last night or whatever, twisting can sometimes affect what's happening in your stomach. So just be aware of that. And when you twist from the center of your body, not from your shoulders or your upper body, because that'll straighten your back. So we're going to lift our arms up into the air, and we're going to twist and drop our arms down perpendicular to our body. So on either side, we're touching the mat. We have our hand on our knee maybe, and we're looking behind us to the back wall. We're going to inhale, release that a little bit. Exhale, and push back toward the back wall again. Inhale, release. Exhale, twist to the back. Now when we release this pose, what we want to do is release our head first and then bring our body around. Great job, everyone. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, slowly start to twist your body around. Find a way to do this that is comfortable for you. If you're sitting in a chair, you can also bring your arms up to here. So let's twist around. Maybe bring one hand in front of you or bring it to your knee, whatever feels comfortable for you. We're going to twist toward the back. Stay lifted through your upper body. Twist from your center of your body. And as you inhale, you can release a little bit and exhale and twist deeper. One more. Inhale, release a little bit. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Looking over your back shoulder. And now as we release this pose, first we're going to release our body and then our head. Great, back to center. All right, let's shake that out a little bit. Now we're going to bring our feet out in front of us, toes flexed. And we're just going to sit tall here for a moment, and we're going to flex our toes in with an inhale and point your toes out in front of you on your exhale, almost like you're blowing them forward. So sitting up nice and tall, flex your toes in. Exhale, point your toes out. Inhale, flex your feet. Exhale, point your toes. Inhale, flex your feet in. Stay tall. Exhale, point your toes out. Great job. On this inhale, we're going to bring our arms up and exhale with a flat back. You're going to come down, chin forward, like you're trying to stick it out over your toes. And we're just going to bring ourselves down to our toes or to our legs or to the mat. Or maybe you're out here. It's going to look different in your body than it is in mine. So you're going to have a nice flat back. I'm going to show you from the side what this should look like. Inhale, exhale, flat back. So you're kind of folding at your waist right here. Nice flat back. Maybe you're bringing your hands here to keep it nice and flat. Toes flexed. Great job. Breathe here. Inhale one more time. Let's reach up once more. Flat back. Reach out in front of you. Nice. Keep your chin up. Great job. Release that. And we're going to come on to our hands and knees for tabletop. So if you do have a pillow or a blanket, go ahead. And if your knees are sensitive or you want something underneath your knees, go ahead and fold it and get it all ready. And we're going to take a tabletop position. We're going to talk about tabletop a little bit today and how tabletop is great, but you got to make the foundation for it and keep that foundation very strong every time you go into tabletop. It helps to stretch your back and creates grounding and strength. So let's go ahead and we'll bring our hands to the floor, ground down through your hands, really feel the earth underneath your hands. Stack your elbows over your wrists and then your shoulders over your elbows. And we're going to do the same thing with our knees and our hips. You can bring your feet with your toes curled underneath, or you can lay them flat down on the mat behind you. All right. So tabletop should look lifted and grounded and feel grounded. And you should be feeling this weight distribution through both your hands, your knees, all the points that are touching the mat should be helping you to lift up and through your shoulders and your back. Keep strong in your core, in the center of your body as you stay lifted. Let's introduce some cat-cow. So inhale for cow and look up, drop your belly down to the ground. Exhale, push up through your spine for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. This movement should be generated in the center of your body, and you should stay lifted while you're doing these motions, and try not to let your body kind of collapse into them, and just stay strong and grounded and lifted. So one more time. Inhale for cow. Looking up toward the ceiling. Exhale for cat. Pushing away from the mat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. All right, bring your big toes to touch. I don't know if you can see that. Big toes to touch behind you. I'm going to move my blanket. You can keep yours there. Big toes to touch. Bring our knees wide to the edges of the mat. And we're going to put our butt back towards our heels as we stretch our arms forward and lower our foreheads down to the mat. Breathe here. This is child's pose. If this is not comfortable for you, come up onto your hands and start working on lowering down. You don't have to come all the way down to the mat. It's a really good stretch for your back so you can get your arms out in front of you and your hips are dropping back. For me, this looks very different from other people who practice yoga and do child's pose because I have wide hips. So my knees splay out further, and that's the only way I can get my butt all the way back. So that's what works for me, and I still can't touch my butt to my heels. I've seen a lot of other people do it, but not me. And that's okay. This is what's easy for me. This is what feels good in my body. All right, let's bring it back up to tabletop. Create that nice solid foundation again. Just take a couple of breaths here. If you need to, grab a drink of water. And find your centered position again here in tabletop, neutral tabletop. We're going to do a couple of bird dogs. So on our inhale, we're going to lift opposite hand and foot, staying lifted, and just breathe here. Flex your foot in the back like you're stomping on the wall behind you. Breathe here. One more inhale. Stretch out, exhale, bring it on back to the mat. Inhale here. Look forward. Maybe look at your thumb in front of you. Stretch your leg out behind you. Nice flex foot. Opposite arm and leg. Stay lifted. Stay engaged. Big breath. Exhale. Bring it down to the mat. Great job. Bring your big toes to touch. We're going to drop back for one more child's pose. Here. Take some deep breaths. And when you're ready, bring yourself to tabletop. Neutral tabletop. Great job, everyone. We're going to start to move into a standing position. So we're going to tuck our toes underneath us in the back. Take a deep inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to send our hips up into the ceiling, come back onto our feet, into downward facing dog. So find grounding and stillness in your downward facing dog. Maybe your heels are up, maybe they're down toward the mat, maybe your knees are bent, because that brings your heels up a little bit and your chest closer to your thighs. Whatever downward facing dogs looks like for you, that's comfortable. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, slowly walk your feet towards your hand or your hands toward your feet. Whatever way works best for you. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to come back down. And we're going to heel toe our feet. Take a nice deep bend in the knees. Grab opposite hand with opposite elbow. Sway back and forth for a ragdoll here. Don't forget to breathe deeply. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Create some organic movement here. Again, whatever feels good for you. Take a moment. Yoga is about introducing new perspectives. This is one we don't normally see. Bring your heel toe your feet back together using your hands as support on the mat. And you can keep your feet hips width distance apart, or you can bring them closer, toes to touch, heels apart. Bend your knees and halfway lift so that your back is straight. Exhale, forward fold. And as you rise up on your next inhale, you'll rise up one vertebrae at a time, starting with your bottom vertebrae, and your head will be the last thing to come up. So inhale. Breathe here. Really accomplish this as slowly as possible. Head's the last thing to come up. Hi, everybody. Great job, everyone. All right, let's kind of shake that out. Let's give ourselves a little twist here. You know what? Again, whatever feels good to you in your body, shake it out. Grab a drink of water. We'll be standing up here for a couple of moments, and then we'll be back down to the mat. So let's inhale. Arms up to the sky. Exhale. Down by your side. Ground down through your feet. Create a nice tall line through the crown of your head. Align your shoulders over your hips, and let's do that again. Inhale. Hands to the sky. Exhale. Hands down by your side. Inhale one more time. Hands up to the sky. Exhale. Hands down by your side. This time when we inhale, we're going to bring our hands back up to the sky, and we're going to take our left wrist in our right hand and gently, just with your upper body, start to pull to the opposite direction. Grounding down through this bottom hip. Pull and stay lifted, or tilt and stay lifted, really, through your upper body so you can feel the stretch here. Great job. Inhale back up into the sky. Exhale, we're going to go the opposite direction now. Maybe you're looking up toward your elbow or the ceiling if that feels comfortable. Or you can look down, or you can just look neutral. Just make sure that you're maintaining a really nice lifted upper body and you're grounding down this way through your hip toward the floor. Great job. Inhale back up to the ceiling. Exhale, cactus arms or goalpost arms. Up to the side. Drop your shoulders down your back. Just breathe here. Find a way to be easy in this position. Engage your middle of your body. Roll your hips a little forward, maybe underneath you. Make sure you're stacking your shoulders over your hips. Inhale here. Exhale, forward fold, hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's roll back up to mountain pose, one vertebrae at a time. Real slowly. Again, let's shake it out, shake it out. Great job, everyone. Grab a drink of water. We're almost there. On this inhale, we're going to bring our hands back up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to come into high plank. So this is what a high plank looks like. If this is not comfortable for you, bring your knees down, bring one knee down if that's better. Find a way to be in high plank that's nice and comfortable. So I'm going to stay here for 3 breaths. Now we're going to lower down to the ground. Oh, doesn't that feel great? Let's bring our palms underneath our shoulders. Zipper up your legs behind you from your heels through your thighs. Bring your chin maybe centered on the mat here. And we're going to lift up for Cobra on our inhale. And when we do, we're going to push down through the rest of our body and stay really lifted through the top half of our body. So inhale for Cobra here. Exhale, stay here. Inhale one more time. Exhale, drop down. Bring your arms out to your side. Bring your left cheek or right cheek to the mat, whatever feels good to you. And just breathe here. For our next stretch, we're going to bring our elbows underneath our shoulders, hands and wrists out in front of us, and we're going to make like a sphinx. So your legs can be wide in this position, or they can be in wherever it feels comfortable for you. And all you're doing is lifting up and pulling. It's almost like you're pulling your body towards your elbows, and you're pulling your elbows back towards your ribs. Stay tall. Breathe here. One more deep breath. And exhale back down to the mat. Take a couple of nice deep breaths here. Wiggle out whatever you need to wiggle out. And we're going to roll over onto our backs. We're going to bring our knees in to our chest and just kind of roll back and forth a little. Maybe on your tailbone there, whatever that looks like. Straighten out here a little bit for you. So bring our arms to a T. And then inhale here. Exhale. We're going to drop our knees to the left or right side of our body, and we're going to stack our hips. So for me, that means I have to adjust my body to bring my hips underneath me so that I get a nice twist and stretch at the same time. If it's comfortable for you, turn your head to face the hand that's away from your knees. You'll be able to feel that twist happen there. You can also cactus your arms or bring your arms to your shoulders. Try to keep both shoulders on the floor. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Exhale and drop them down to the other side. Again, adjust your body so that your hips are stacked neatly here, one underneath the other. And your knees are at a 90-degree angle to your body, straight out, right? 90 degrees, like a little lightning bolt here. And then twist and look at your opposing hand. Find ease and comfort in this position. If that means bring your knees a little further away from your body or a little closer, whatever that looks like for you. Ground down through make sure your shoulders are down on the ground, that they're not lifting up. And drop your chest away from your chin as much as possible. Breathe here. Inhale, bring your knees back in. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe curl up into a little ball. All right. Bring your feet flat on the mat in front of you. And we're going to do a bridge pose here. So stack your shoulders directly underneath your chest and your body. You can see I have to lift up a little bit to do that. And then when we inhale and exhale, we're going to send our hips up toward the sky if you can. If it feels good for you, bring your hands and clasp them underneath your body, or you can bring them down by your side and just breathe here. Try to keep your chin as far away from your chest as possible. You should be putting the weight onto the backs of your shoulders, not on your neck and head here. And you should be engaged through your upper body and lifting from that point, from the middle of your body. Ground down through your feet. One more big inhale. And on your next exhale, drop back down to the ground. Great job. Windshield wiper your knees left to right on either side of the mat to kind of release that stretch. Boy, doesn't that feel good. Okay, let's bring our knees back into our chest and roll around a little bit here. Take a nice big inhale. And on your next exhale, you'll push your feet up toward the ceiling. Drop your arms down by your side for legs up the wall. Breathe here. We'll be here for about 30 seconds. So find a way to be really comfortable in this position. You can bend your knees. You can bring your feet down or at a 90-degree angle. The important part here is just to have a moment to recirculate the blood that is collected in your feet all day from sitting or standing into the rest of your body. Very important. Legs up the wall. I highly encourage doing this position at least once a day for 30 seconds. If you can do it longer than that, great. Stay here as long as you can. You can also use an actual wall behind your legs if that's more comfortable for you. Just gives your body a moment to recirculate all the blood that is collected in the feet and leg area during the day. And it also provides you with a new perspective, because really, how many times do we sit like this, looking up at our toes? Okay. Take a nice big inhale here. One more. Exhale, let's drop our feet back down on the mat. Bring your palms of your feet, soles of your feet to touch. Drop your knees wide on the mat for a recline bound angle. Maybe bring your hand to your heart or your stomach or one to each. People like to lay in this position in different ways. Take a couple of great big breaths here. Make sure your back is pushing down into the mat. Great job, everybody. Let's take our hands to either side of our thighs and close your legs like a book. Inhale, bring your knees back into your chest. Exhale here, roll around a little bit. Take one more big giant inhale. Tight, tight, tight. Get yourself into a little tiny ball. Exhale for final resting pose. Spread your body wide on the floor. Feel the earth below each point that is touching your skin on your body, whether that's carpet or tile or wood. Feel yourself connect with the earth below you. Find comfort and ease in this position. I invite you to stay here for a few moments, quiet. I will call you out of this position after a few moments to end class. I encourage you, no matter what you have ahead of you today, to just take a couple of moments here for yourself right now. Everything else can and will wait for you. I'm going to move into a seated position. So when you're ready, I will call you out in a few moments. So I'll give you some quiet time right now. And when you're feeling ready, start to introduce small movements into your fingers and toes. Maybe just wiggling your fingers out, wiggling your toes out. And as you move to, take a nice big overhead stretch with your arms like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Oh, stretch your feet out, point your toes, stretch it out. Doesn't that feel great? Relax. Bring yourself to one side or the other using your bicep as a pillow and your knees tucked in. So you're going to roll onto one side or the other. Create a position that looks like this. So just kind of like you're getting ready for the day here. You took a nice big stretch. Now you're rolled over to one side or the other. Great job. Now slowly work yourself into another easy seat, like where you started at the beginning. Whatever that looks like for you. Feet out. Crisscross applesauce like this. Seated in a chair. Whatever you can. Great job. Roll your shoulders up and exhale them down your back. Let's just do one more inhale. Shoulders up, down your back. Create that nice tall seated position. One more giant breath. Exhale it all out. Relax. Welcome to the rest of your day. I hope you all had a wonderful practice here with me today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and that your back feels better than it did potentially coming into today. Again, please do go check out the Comeback Yoga schedules on the Comeback Yoga site. And click like and subscribe on the Comeback Yoga YouTube channel so you get updates and notifications about upcoming videos. There's a huge variety of videos on the YouTube channel. So if you're looking for more of a challenge, you can go through those videos, and there are great classes in there that are a little more advanced. But if you're a first timer or just beginning your journey with exercise and yoga and stretching, Comeback Yoga is the greatest place to start because there is no expectations here. You get to set your own expectations in your own body. And we know that your yoga is always going to look very different than our yoga, than anybody else's yoga. So this yoga is for you. This time is for you. And we encourage you to take care of yourself in whatever way you can and whatever that looks like. That's why we're here for you and we provide these classes. So I encourage you to like and subscribe. Definitely go check out the website for more information about Comeback Yoga and the amazing things that they do to bring yoga to veterans where they are. So if you've got any questions, feel free to put them up in the comments, or if you want to send some feedback in there, that'd be great too. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a wonderful day out there, and may the sun shine on your shoulder. Have a great one.